Last episode we talked about converting this interior to be more like the original 88 version. We do have some big differences in that I wanted to change between the two. One of the biggest hurdles we had was trying to find that HVAC controller, the digital version, which was the first digital version to go into the 88 Countach. And with your help, we did find one, sort of, parts of it. Think it'll work. I need some help with that, and I need some help with some other parts. So the first thing I had to do is basically pull together all the parts that I needed in order to build this interior to an 88. First thing was the instrument panel set of gauges that I bought from Mav. He had those in stock already, so we ordered those. We did need to get the HVAC controller and those indicator information pods that are on either side of the gauges. Needed the side vents and the warning lights that are to the left side of the steering wheel, along with that dimmer. There's the right side buttons. There's that set of 5 buttons there over to the right that we needed, and the top center console buttons along with that lighter. There's some console vents that we needed. We also needed that gated shifter and the knob that goes with it, the ashtray, and the clock. Gotta have the clock. That's like totally 80s. So altogether we needed 22 parts. And I don't have a lead on any one of them. Sure, I could start looking them up and trying to find all these guys that might have them or may be able to build them. That's a lot of work. So I reached out to Mav to see what parts he could round up for us. And after us going back and forth and working on this, I'm really just down to 2 parts that he couldn't get for me. That was the HVAC controller and the 2 indicator pods on either side of the steering wheel. Not bad. Mav has 20 out of 22 of the parts that we need. So what you might remember is that HVAC controller. Needed to find a source for that. We had talked about Rice Burner was somebody we thought was building something. And I did hear from Don, and thanks to Don for reaching out to us. He was working actually with Rice Burner. He has since kind of slowed down on this project, and so has Don. They are building a replica of that controller using an Arduino system. So he's moving along with that at a pace that's probably not as quick as what I want to move on this. So we'll keep in touch with them, and as things progress, that might be a way we have to go down the road anyways, because I don't even know if the one I got works. I did get a personal message from Craig, who found one of those HVACs, a used one from a Diablo. Early model Diablos were the same, more or less, unit that was used in the 88 Countach. He sent me a link to one of those, and I ended up picking that one up. Now, as you can see, it has a few problems with it. We do have some missing buttons. The logo piece that looks like it's backlit, that's missing as well. But the rest of it actually looks like it's pretty much intact. So the next step for that is trying to hook it up. Now, if you go online, you cannot find a whole lot of wiring diagrams to help you with this. And there's nothing, no part numbers or nothing on the back of this thing. So I'm a bit of a, what to do now. Could just start doing continuity tests on it and hooking up a 12 volt to it and a fused line to it and start playing around with that. But before I go to that, I'd rather try to find a wiring diagram. I have reached out to eManual online to see if they have it, because they have a number of manuals that might have the wiring diagram for that particular controller, but it's not 100% spelled out there. So I hope to hear back from them. Now, if viewers out there, again, can help me with trying to find the wiring diagram for this thing, that would be great, because that's really all I need. I don't need a full manual of the car. I just need, the wiring outputs. That would be great. The other thing I'm struggling with is on the back of this unit, it's going to have a connector that goes on the back of it. Now obviously it's just pin connectors that I need that goes on the back of that, but if you go online trying to figure out what one you need in order to fit that, it's a 7-pin and an 8-pin connector. There are such a huge amount of them, and then you can see this one has like, it's a straight, there's no dividers in between, it's just a straight slot. So I need a 7-pin and an 8-pin, but something that just slides on there. So I'd like to try and find something that works well and fits well on there, and I just haven't been able to find it online. But I know somebody out there's probably some kind of, you know, electrical magician and knows exactly what that is, buys them all day long, and hopefully you can help me out. So I did get a lot of comments in last week that helped me, and a lot with the shifter as well, that gated shifter, trying to get that down and figure out ways we could, you know, figure out those throws for it. So where I'm at right now is I've reached out to Long. They build a shifter that's similar to what Hurst does, and it seems like it might have a shorter footprint there from the depth of it, and it may work. So I've reached out to them. I'm going to try and get some information from them to see if that would work. That might be an alternative that I could throw in there and get me further ahead. Last thing we've got is those indicator pods on each side of the steering wheel. Those are a bit of a struggle. So working with Mab, he can't get a hold of the original ones. They're pretty expensive. But what we've decided to do is split that, and Mav's gonna bring those in, and then I'm gonna try and reproduce them. Now, if you guys don't know already, I'm in the plastics industry, I'm in thermoforming, and that's what I do. I could probably figure out a way to replicate these and form it, make it all work, but it's a lot of work regardless. You know, if somebody has a 3D printer, it'll be a lot easier, but we need some CAD in order to even do a 3D. So we're gonna bring in those, what Mav's found, and then what I'll try to do is piece with my knowledge and background in thermoforming and plastics. I can piece together the sheets and types of materials that are required in order to get, you know, the right look to this thing. And the backlighting is what's going to be important, and you know what, to get the colors that you see in the back of the indicators. That's going to be important to try and replicate all that. So I'll do my best to come up with those pieces, and then hopefully with my connections at CAD and the business and that, somebody can help me replicate, do the drawings for these ones. And then we can figure out, you know, either to 3D print it or a mix of both, and maybe CNC some of the pieces. But I got some ideas there too. We'll kind of cross those bridges after we get those 2 originals to start looking at replicating. So that's about it. That's where we're at right now. I appreciate everybody's help. The comments and the personal messages have been great, and great help, and maybe you can help me some more.